Guys, this is Vanny. I was back at it again with another Buddy Fight deck profile. This time it's on Linkdragon Order, an upgraded version, not with Rumbling Thunder X Agito or the double attack one or like the good King Agito. This is like the trial deck stuff combined with a bunch of good stuff that I got from Buddy Mart. Put down in the description below. May have taken me a while, but I promised you guys a deck profile and I got to it. So, forget to like, comment, subscribe, donate to the Patreon, and let's get started. So this is about to take a shot every single time I say D-share this episode, because trust me, we're gonna get high. All together. Linkdragon Warrior Anthem, boys. I would sing it, but I haven't memorized it. Ancient World, obviously. And the buddies, the Trial Deck one, had a Linkdragon Warrior Agito, 5k power, 1k defense, critical of 2, pay a gauge to call, D-share! When all cards on your field D-share is basically all cards on your field get the following D, or even if they don't have D-share, they can still gain other cards' Ds. Wow, that sounded wrong. So its D ability is when it attacks, it gets Penetrate. Penetrate. Basically everything will gain Penetrate if it has D-share, and everything in this deck does have D-share, so, yeah. Okay, so, for our first size 1, since we don't run size 0s, Rising Thunder Sea, Agito. 5k power, 1k defense, critical of 2. He's the promo card, which I actually like. Pay a gauge to call D-share, and then he has his own D. When he attacks, destroy a monster on the opponent's field. So basically, everything on your field gets destroy a monster on your opponent's field when they attack, which is really nice. Combine with Agito, that means everything is penetrate, and on attack, destroy something. Yeah, so everything in this deck, but every monster in this deck except for 2 has their own D ability, and those 2 monsters that don't have their own D ability have a decent ability to boot to make up for that. Now, 4 copies of Investigator Mizaru, 3k power, 1k defense, critical of 2, size 1. Pay gauge to call him. When he enters your field, search your deck for up to 1 Linkdragon Order item, add it to your hand, shuffle your deck, and then if you have no items equipped, equip the item by paying its equip cost. And then he has D-share. He may not have his own D, but he literally searches you an item, and there's a funny little play I like to make with one of the size 1s that we'll go into next, or that we'll go into soon, where basically you can gain up to a total of 6 life in 1 turn because of the buddy call, this thing calling any other monster, and then equipping the item. Really bullcrap plays, and you get to search the item that you want. I run a knockoff item because my other item hasn't come yet, but I still run one of Masato's main items, and then I'm going to get the evolved version next week. So, yeah, if you see me change up the item lineup, just know that that means that the only thing that changes really the item evolved. The fake one. So 4 copies there. 4 copies of Head of Linkdragon Order Agito. You already know what he does. 4 copies of Will Jokoho. 2k power, 2k defense, critical of 1, size 1. When he enters the field, destroy a size 1 or less monster on the opponent's field. I really wish this card's D-share was that, because then that means pop it on the field, dial pressed area. Pop it on the field, dial pressed area. Screw you. I really love this card. Or you can just pop it on the opponent's field. It just gets rid of a press bowl. So his D ability is, he also has D-share, by the way. His D ability is, during your turn, this card gets plus 5k power. So basically, if you have a full field and then the item I currently have in my deck, the good item, basically your whole field could gain a maximum of 8k if you don't have another Jokoho on the field. Really nice, because I've gone to games where I've actually done that and my opponent has been able to block it. I literally one-turned a Prism Dragon player because of this. I love this deck. Next up, 4 copies of Quake Istomo. The card is I can make a combo with Investigator Zero, a buddy call, and then basically any other monster. 4k power, 1k defense, critical of 2, size 1. When this card, he has D-share and then D. When this card enters the field, drop the top card of your deck. If the drop card is Linkdragon Order, gain a life. Okay, spoiler alert. Everything in this deck is Linkdragon Order attribute. Everything. The spells, the items, the monsters, and the impact. Everything is a Linkdragon Order, so really if you call this thing, you're guaranteed when you mill that you will gain a life point. Literally, I've gone games where I've gone like, okay, I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to gain a bunch of life now so I don't have to do it later. My opponents called me cheating for just trying to take the safe road, and then after I done it, they're like, why didn't you tell me sooner? We could have just got this turn over with already. But yeah, no, it's not my fault. So yeah, really good. I like that card. And then our last size 1, Heavy Striker Kaina, 3k power, 1k defense, critical of 1, D share, and the D ability, it gets a crit. Basically, it's just a crit stacker. Combine that with Agito. Combine that with both Agitos, everything basically gets plus 1 crit, and on attack, destroy a monster with penetrate. And then it also has penetrate, and then combined with the item that's good, you can basically give it all 3k power. What I like to see is either Kaina, both Agitos, and then the knockoff item, which is pay a gauge, burn them 1 when the card attacks. Or I like to see Investigator Mizaru, Will Jokoho, and Quake Estima with the item equipped that gives everything plus 3k power. So either full powered field or bullcrap field. Now into our size 3s. Like I said before, this is not the good Agito, this is the Trautic one. Renaissance of Bonds, King Agito, 7k power, 7k defense, critical of 2, size 3. Put up to a total of 3 Linkdragon Order monsters from your field and or drop zone into its soul, pay gauge, and then pay gauge. Spiral Dragon shares basically means it gets all the D's and D shares in his soul, and he has D share himself with Soul Guard, obviously. Yeah. I love the Trautic one better because, I love the real one better because you can get up to 6 soul and you don't have to pick monsters, so you can basically stack more effects. And what I also love with Quake Estima too is that it works with any card when it's placed, and that includes the items, so you can gain a bunch of life, and I've gotten out of bad situations where I've actually needed it. So yeah. And it also works for like the regular King Agito too, because basically you're milling, you're gaining life, and then you're getting closer to his cause, or even just this Agito. And Rumbling Thunder X and Agito, and then Spiral, Rumbling, Dragon, King, Agito. You get the point, basically. I would still run that card in the final build too. Next up, 2 copies of Bond Shield. Melee cast card during attack on the opponent's turn, and if you have a Linkdragon Order on your field. Nullify the attack, put up to 1 size lesser monster from your drop zone to your hand. Really nice. I wish I had more copies because basically you can set up for next turn and get back stuff that you may or may not have lost. It's really nice. I would run it for actually. Consider the fact that that's this deck's only other nullify besides another one. Next up, 3 copies of Linkdragon Order of the Gathering. I love this because this thing can search so many things. Pay gauge to cast it. You can choose one of the following 2. You can only use it once per turn. Either pull up to 1 Linkdragon Order monster with Agiton's card name from your deck into your hand and then shuffle your deck, or put 2 cards with D-Share and different card names from your drop zone into your hand. Basically meaning that you can search your Agitos from your drop zone if you ran out of all of them, or if you need like King Agito and then the item or something, or basically anything. It's really nice, actually. Searches your stuff. 3 copies. I wish I had one more. Next up, 4 copies of Linkdragon Order Repose. This is where I would cut down the stuff for. Put top 2 cards of your deck into your gauge, and then you gain 1 life for each size 1 or less on the field. So yeah, I guess it's good. It's good with heavy life game. I mean, Linkdragon Order, since they're a bunch of size 1s, they focus on hand spam. Like, they get rid of their hand really quickly. They just have a bunch of cards that give them life points, so that later on they're not entirely screwed over with resources, because at least they have a bunch of life. If I had horror, this deck would be way easier this deck would be way harder to beat. I'm sorry. Okay, 4 copies of our last Nullify, my favorite spell, and our last spell as well. Undying Linkdragon Order. It's fitting that horror is on here, since he's the only Linkdragon Order that gives you life points. So yeah. Anyways, you may cast a card during attack on the opponent's turn if you have a Linkdragon Order on your field. Nullify the attack, gain life for each card with D-Share in its card name. On its effect. Basically, you can gain up to a max of 4 life. If they ever made a set spell with D-Share, run it at 4, because that would mean you could gain a max of 5 life. But that's okay, because it works, and basically it's like 3 nullifies in 1, which is really nice. And it can also prevent you from dying. Like, I remember one time I was playing against an Astro Dragon player. I barely lived. Because of this card, which brought me to 10 life, and then they brought me down to 6, I was like, oh my god, I lived. They had 3 gauge, and I knew they had their impact in hand. Because I could sense the fact that they were trying to be aggressive, because they destroyed their double attack item for a triple attack one. So I was like, oh lord, I have to live this turn. And I lived by a life, and then I finished them off next turn with my impact. So I was like, thank you god, it's a buddy fight. I screwed them over. That was our spell. Now into our items. Throwbacks. Tsukumuji, I think. 4k power, 1 crit. This card can attack if you have a Linkdragon Order on your center. And D-Share. and it has its own D. When this card attacks, if you may pay a gauge. If you do, deal 1 effect, burn your opponent 1, which basically dealing them 1 effect damage. So with the amount of bullcrap that you can get off of this deck, and if you can actually get enough gauge for it, you can burn them 4 in a turn. Or if you have the double attack Agito, only God would know why, you could basically burn them. Let's see, each attack, since there's not once per turn per card. So then 8 attacks. You could deal 16 effect damage in a turn because of all the amounts of bull that are going on with that. No, I'm sorry, you can do 8 damage in a turn, which is really bull, because that's annoying. And then the main item that I like searching out, Orders Axe, Wild Axe. You guys know what this does, but just in case you don't, 3k power, it has 1 crit. It can attack you if you have a Linkdragon order on your center. Abilities of all Linkdragon orders on your field cannot be nullified by card effects, so they can't nullify D-Share and Soul Guard and stuff like that. It has speaking of D-Share, it has D-Share and its own D. During your turn, this card gets plus 3k power. So, I've had times where I've had Will Johoko at 10k, a Quaymuk at 12k, and then a Mizaru at 11k, and then this at 11k, and basically swinging at the opponent for only God knows how much against a Prism Dragon player, and they lived the turn with a life. And then I cast this. Thunder Tornado Rival! Sorry about the voice crack. That would have been so perfect if it wasn't for the voice crack. Thunder Dragon Tornado, the English version, or if you want to do the Japanese version, Thunder Tornado Rival! I did it. Cool. Text. A storm that is nothing but sheer fury, and I can understand why. Its literal animation in the show is them throwing axes at the opponent. You may only cast a card if you have a monster with D-Share on your field and your opponent's at 4 life or less. And if you have a monster spell D-Share on your field, you can cast it without paying its cast cost. Pay 2 gauge, deal 4 damage. I had 4 gauge that turn. And then I one-turned an Astral Dragon player with this, because what I did is that they had... Technically, it wasn't my first turn, but I did one-turn them because they were at 10 life. And even though they did not have Galaxy Formation active, they basically bullcrapped me down to very few life, to the point where I barely survived because they didn't have enough gauge for the impact. And then I called King Agito to center. I dealt them 4 effect... No, I burned them for 5 because I had 3 Kainas in the soul. And then I dealt them 1, and that was like final phase. Thunder Tornado Rival! Die! and that saved me because I only had 1 gauge at the time, so I would have lost if it wasn't for that free cost. That was the deck profile. I hope you guys enjoy. I actually enjoy playing Linkdragon Order because I get to test out all new abilities, and I basically get to show out how teamwork works. If only sports were like this, because then I would actually play them. Hope you guys enjoy the deck profile. This was it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, donate to the Patreon. You guys are everything to us, me and R, so don't forget to raise your flag. Can you pull a buddy rare?